Hello, hello. This is the first live on YouTube I've done, and I figured, what better time to give it a go. I don't. This is unfamiliar territory for me in terms of going live on YouTube, but I really wanted to do it after this game, the Indiana Fever versus the Chicago Sky game. Some people have been saying, hey, we'd like for you to do some post game live stuff. And so say something in the chat so I know you're here. Like I said, I haven't done this before. I haven't done a live on YouTube. And but after this loss to the Chicago Sky, I thought I'm just gonna jump in there and let's get it going. All right. So okay, hi from Florida here. Hello, hey, we are here. Firesides. I'm laughing so I don't cry, y'all. Okay. I'm laughing so I don't cry. So I'm going to try to manage this. Like I said, share some of my thoughts. Check out the chat. Never done the YouTube live, but I'm telling you, today is the day to do it. Okay. Could have went either way. Howdy from California. I couldn't watch the last 8 minutes. Firesides. Hey, I'm from Florida. You're doing a great job. Thank you. Love your comments and views on the game. Please announce the games, watching, etc. So shout out from Philippine coach. Okay. Excellent. So this is what I want to know before I even tell you what I think about this game. First of all, would you put one? Just type one if you watched the game. If you watched the Fever take on the Sky, just type one so I know you saw the game. Okay. Get Erica Wheeler off the floor. Methinks, to use that Shakespearean term, methinks that some of you are as frustrated as I was watching this game. So what are you thinking? What did you see? Before I even tell you what I think, would you please tell me, what did you notice during this game, the highs, the lows, how it all turned out? What are your thoughts about what went down in this game? This game, mind you, that Indiana was leading by what, 15? Were they leading by 18 at any point? I know they were leading by 15. I watched Smith and Wallace choke, Liz Aguirre said. Okay, so what are some of your thoughts? Says we need a new coach. Clark, only shot 11 times. So many tiny mistakes that could have made a difference. Pass to Wallace at the end, upsetting. Back to missing easy shots, not boxing out. All right, so let me say this. First of all, I want to make sure I make it clear. I want to give my applause to Angel Reese. Now, I'm not an Angel Reese fan. I don't like she started off first layup. She's staring people down and I'm not a big fan of those kinds of things. Just play the game, right? And especially if you're showing those antics toward a person, I don't like it. But I said in my video that I put out last night or in the wee hours of this morning, I said that I had some issues concerning the Indiana Fever. And I said I wasn't going to say too much, okay? And some of you put in the comments, no, we want you to say too much. We want to hear. But I did voice some concerns. But I also said that the atmosphere was going to be charged and that Angel Reese was going to come pumped up and that Chicago was going to want to bang. And so Indiana was going to have to meet that intensity, okay? And Angel Reese, she did her thing. And I have criticized Angel Reese, and I have said she was mediocre at best, and I still don't think she's a great basketball player as a whole. But she played some ball, and I saw true potential, okay? So where's your live donate? Okay, so let me figure out how to do this. If you want to donate, I don't want to miss that opportunity. I appreciate the blessing. So my Cash App, real quick, since someone asked, AdrienneRossCom on Cash App, and then Venmo, it is Adrienne-Ross-25. So, all right, there you go. So thank you for asking. So they're going to have to bang. They're going to have to box out. Angel Reese brought it. She was ready for this game. she played hard. Now, she absolutely owned Nalissa Smith, owned her. So I don't know if Smith was weak or what, but I'm going to give Angel Reese some credit. She played well. And so I give it to her. I could do less with the trash talking, but anyway, she balled. The Indiana Fever, see, this is what I said before. When I said that I had some concerns, there are times, even as a coach, I said this, there are times when you can win a game and it doesn't feel good at all. And there are times when you can lose a game and it feels good because of the things that you did. In this case, they have won some games where I didn't feel good about it. And they lost this game and I don't feel good about it. When Smith is being smoked as she was by Angel Reese, I want to know why Coach Sides doesn't make adjustments. I'm going to credit this win, yes, to Chicago, yes, to Angel Reese in part, and yes, to Coach Sides. Coach Sides deserves credit for her team's loss. Indiana should have won this game. Indiana should have won this game. But this is where I'm concerned about this team, and I said I have some concerns. Coach Sides is not, she can't coach Caitlin Clark. Caitlin had a good game. What did she have? Was it 17 points? So I don't have the stats in front of me. I just was too annoyed. I just decided to do the live. So I don't have all of it with me. But I think she had 13 assists. She assisted the ball well. She should have had more assists, but Mitchell, and she can't handle the passes. Some other people can't handle the passes, and that's how she gets some turnovers also. However, Caitlin Clark started out hot. Started out knocking down a couple threes. Then what happens? It's like, yes, she's distributing the ball. She's an unselfish player, but I cannot figure out how Coach Sides has been given a gift in Caitlin Clark, and you relegate her to simply handing off the ball many times, never seeing it again. And guys, can we be honest here? Who in the world believes that when the game is on the line, even the commentators said it, Caitlin not even touching the ball at a key point in the game. Like I said, I don't have all the stats in front of me, but I know after the third quarter, I looked at the stats. Caitlin Clark shot the ball 2 times in the third quarter. 2 times in the third quarter, she shot the ball. This is Caitlin Clark. I know it's a team sport. I understand that. But how does your star player who started out hot, how does she only get to shoot the ball 2 times in the whole third quarter? And in the fourth quarter, I think she shot the ball twice again. Don't quote me exactly, but it was like 2 or 3 times, maybe at the end of the game after you've blown this lead. And then when the game is on the line, you don't go to her. You don't draw up a play for her. You give the ball to Wallace. Gets the ball. Was it Wallace who got the ball at the end? It makes no sense at all. And Caitlin has to be more assertive. She passes up some shots. I understand Coach Sides obviously has her on a leash. She has on at least Sides. Someone said Sides' ego is her detriment. She doesn't know how. Andrea says she doesn't know how to utilize Clark at all. She's a baller who shoots. She doesn't encourage her to shoot. Annoying. That will be the same as telling Steph to stop shooting and only pass the ball. And I get it. Caitlin is not, it appears her temperament is not to just do her own thing. But this is what I want to know. Is she the only person who seems to want to be obedient to Coach Sides' her game plan? Mitchell, she shoots whenever she feels like it. And I'm not one of those people who says that Mitchell needs to be traded. I've heard people say that. She has a tremendous upside, but she has to be coached into playing the proper way. She takes over. Nobody's running stuff for Caitlin at all. So now you relegate her to simply being a passer. And we all know she can pass, and we all know that she will pass. And why doesn't it come back to her? Why is she missing? Why is she passing up shots? Even at the end of the game, I felt like there was an opportunity for her, and I need to go back and look at it, but I felt there was an opportunity for her to take a shot. There are times in the mid-range, there's a possibility she could take a shot. She's thinking, get everybody else involved, get everybody else involved, get everybody else involved. And again, her assists were off the charts, and she should have had even more. But you know, I had a player once, I had to tell her. I said, you're not on the floor to pass the ball. Now, I know it's different with Caitlin, and Caitlin's a point guard, and she's a great passer, and you don't want to take that away from her. But you cannot relegate her, someone of her offensive prowess. You cannot relegate her to simply passing the ball. And I'm not sure why she seems to be the only one. I'm seeing Wallace take shots. We're seeing Mitchell take shots. We're seeing Mitchell dribble the mess out of the ball. And don't get me started on Wheeler. Why is Erica Wheeler in the game? She dribble. I want to do something where I just start counting how long the ball is in her possession. Why is Erica Wheeler having so much play? And you have a Caitlin Clark, and you're not running stuff. In the end of the game, with the game on the line, you don't have anything designed for Caitlin Clark. In a game where she is hot, she starts out hot. There is a saying that says, feed the hot hand. She comes out hot, and then you ice her. You go away from her. You don't have plays for her. You blow a game you should have won. Not taking away from Chicago. I'm not taking away from Coach Teresa Weatherspoon. She outcoached Coach Sides. She went to Reese, and Reese made Smith pay, and Sides did not make any adjustments at all. So Reese went off on Smith, talked trash to Smith, and she got the win. Now, someone says, I think Wheeler has potential to be a real baller, but she doesn't implement it on the floor where it matters. I don't know. I see her, when she has the ball in her hand, I see her as a detriment. It retards the play of everyone else. And then you got Mitchell, like I said, tremendous upside. She's a streaky shooter. She does too much sometimes. She doesn't seem to pass the ball as much. She's thinking score first. And I get it. She's a scorer. She has a scorer's mentality. But Caitlin, however, is being relegated to don't shoot the ball. Twice in the third quarter? Twice in the third quarter, she shot the ball. And I think twice in the fourth, or 3 times in the fourth quarter. That cannot happen. And I don't understand why she seems to be the only one who seems to be like, I got to do it Coach's way. I don't understand. Let me see some of you. CC can take every shot, Fever lose, and it will still be the coach's fault. Give the ball to Clark when the game is on the line. She's a superstar. And that's, I know Coach Sides, she's got it in her mind, I want to play a certain way. And I noticed something. She wants to get the ball inside. And of course, when Aaliyah Boston is on, if you get the ball inside and you got to have to double her maybe if she's playing well. And so they're going to be able to kick the ball back out. Your shooters are going to be able to shoot, whatever. But one of the things I noticed that when Caitlin gets the ball inside or someone gets the ball inside, they don't seem to know. You get it inside to Aaliyah Boston. She kind of checks to see if she's got anything. The defense collapses on her, and then she can kick it back out for the shot, but not necessarily. She can kick it back out, repost strong, and get the pass right back in and go up strong. But they're forcing stuff, and they're going away from Caitlin to other shooters. It's not just a Caitlin show. I'm not trying to say that. I understand. But you have a superstar, and you lost because you shot yourself in the foot. And here's my thing. Yeah, please hit the like button. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't done that. This is why I got a little bit nervous with some of the wins. There's a saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so when you're winning, even when you're not playing smart, you tend to get yourself in a rut, and then you continue to do the thing that got you the win, or so you think. And so then your win becomes your detriment. And that's why certain people were saying after a few wins, you heard people saying, I still believe Sides needs to go. These wins make me a little bit nervous, because all of a sudden now the attention turns from her deficits to the things that she needs to shore up. And now it's like, oh, the team is winning. And I don't know if you saw the post game. There was a post game, and then the reporter said to her, there were a lot of narratives about this team. The team is horrible, Aaliyah is horrible, whatever. And she was just like, Side said, and the coach is horrible. And so she used that moment to vindicate herself. She felt like their wins vindicated her as a coach. And that's where winning can be your detriment. That's why teams who are on a winning streak, when they finally lose a game, sometimes they say that's a blessing in disguise, because now, one, we got the monkey off our back. Two, it forces us to step it up. But sometimes when things are going well, you don't take the time to self-evaluate. And I looked at how they were playing, even in the wins, and I'm thinking, it works while it works. I even put that out in the video. It works while it works. But then when it stops working, when you stop getting lucky at times, when you're not banging like you're supposed to and not boxing out like you're supposed to, and going away from your bread and butter, it will eventually catch up with you. Joanne says she has so much faith in Erica Wheeler, but Erica cannot be trusted. No, she's out of control. And there's that old saying in basketball, like, don't dribble the ball unless you're going somewhere. There's a lot of through the leg, back through the leg. Listen, I my age, I still like to do that. But if I'm playing on a team trying to win, I'm not just dribbling for the sake of dribbling. Let's do something with the ball. And Caitlin she's passing up on some shots that she should be taking. She's trying really hard, I guess, to be compliant. And as a point guard, we understand you distribute the ball, but she is a scoring point guard, and you cannot ice her. You've got to run through her. At the end, did you guys look at the end of that game? Your Caitlin Clark doesn't touch the ball. Was it the second to last play? It's pathetic. And so I'm saying that this is a game they should have won. They blew a huge lead. Game is never over until it's over. I know they know that, but they should not have lost that. They should not have lost that game. And you have to make adjustments, and you've got to utilize Caitlin Clark. And because you've got this idea that I've got to do it a certain way, she's going to live or die by that certain way. And you have a generational talent in Caitlin Clark. It is amazing. Yeah, Mitchell does have butterfingers. Oh my goodness, she does. At one point, she didn't even want it again. She just kind of ducked. But you have a generational talent on your hands. And she needs a coach who can bring out the best in her. It's amazing that she has been able to do what she has done, to set or break records that she's already done as a rookie, because she's got a whole lot working against her. The team, like I said, has started to gel. I'm not going to negate that at all, that they show some signs of gelling. But as I even said then, there are certain things that are still concerning. And I really believe that this game, it came down to Coach Sides. And Clark has to take some responsibility too, because at some point, maybe she's going to have to say, listen, everybody else is doing what they're doing. I know what I can bring. I'm going to bring it. Yeah. Timothy said Clark hits 2 threes in the first 3 minutes of the fourth, and then only gets one more shot. Well, was that in the fourth? I don't even remember her getting that many shots in the fourth, but I know she hit a couple in the beginning of the game. We're like, oh man, she's on fire. And when she does something well, it's like they don't understand. They go away from her. It's I don't like losses at all, but I don't like losses that should be wins for sure. And they did not make adjustments. They did not use Caitlin like they should have, and they blew the game. And though I'm not taking anything away from Chicago, because a team has to capitalize on what's going on the other side. And they did that. And Angel Reese, she did her thing. And I did see signs from her that this is her first year. She could be really good, I think. I mean, unless Nalissa Smith was just that weak tonight, but I'm not willing to say that. I'm going to give Reese the credit she deserves. And I knew they were going to bring it. So it's extremely frustrating. Denise says, I agree with when CC ignores sides, they win. And as a person who coached the game myself, I don't even almost don't like to say ignore the coach because, but I don't know. Sides was outcoached, Nancy. She absolutely was. You're right. And someone here said, Yanni, Chicago simply outplayed them in the fourth. Their effort won them the game. Well, yeah, they could have let it go. That's for sure. But I'm not gonna not say that Coach Sides played a part in that, and that the Fever literally dropped the ball. And I don't understand. I just don't understand Sides. I don't. And then now we're talking about Timmy coming back, right? So people are really excited because it looks like a game or two, Timmy might be back. Okay, that's great because she runs the floor. She and Clark have this connection, it seems, but it makes me even more nervous because now Sides is we're going to see what's she going to do with that rotation now. I mean, how's that going to look now? She's already struggling with her substitutions and stuff like that. So what now? When Timmy comes back, now she's got something else that she has to figure out. Sides needs to be investigated. I gotta say, I'm not of the opinion, and I've heard people say they feel like Sides is tanking and all that. I have a hard time believing that. I don't know. I have a hard time believing that women would do something like that. Like I think and competitors always want to win. You always want to compete. So I have a hard time with believing that. I just think she's in over her head. And I said it in another video. I said they were going to have a 5-game road trip and they won the last one, but I said it's going to get harder. So they're going to have to do those things that, it gets harder, and let's face it, Sky on their home court, even though there are a lot of Fever fans, Sky on their home court, and they lost 2 of them to this team. And though people don't want to admit it, of course, there is a certain rivalry brewing. And Angel Reese felt like she has something to prove. And she did her part. And guys, that Kennedy Carter, I know we had something to say concerning her history and concerning her body check of Caitlin. But the girl can ball. The girl can play. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Someone just sent me a Cash App. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Benjamin, shout out to you. And so anybody else want to do that? I'll add it to the description afterwards, Venmo and Cash App, if you don't know it already. But that Kennedy Carter can play some ball. I mean, if she can keep it together, and she seems to have been doing that, if she can keep it together, this was another opportunity that she had after some bad situations. And I wish her nothing but the best because she's a huge asset to that team. I mean, she's a huge asset and she's fun to watch. I'm like, does she miss? Like, for real. So I'm really disappointed, not just in the loss, but in the way they lost, in the fact that they should have won. And I'm really concerned about the coaching, and I'm concerned about the other players who seem to have, given liberty to do what they do. But Caitlin Clark is in this system. She's good. Like I said, if they really let her go, what could she accomplish? Hey, you guys, did you see the the exchange between Coach Weatherspoon and Coach Sides at the end of the game. I mean, contrast that to the last one that I shared with you guys, where Weatherspoon didn't even want to look like she didn't even want to look at her, didn't want to hardly touch her. They had a long exchange. So, but Sides was kind of had her on her back, and she was. At first, I thought she was in tears or something. They were there hugging and talking for a long time. So I would love to know what Sides was saying to her. Juan DeBert said she was asking for a job. Woo! She got a big hug. Oh my goodness. But also, did you see the exchange between Cheryl Swoops and Angel Reese after the game? Now that was quite a hug. They were holding on for a long time and hugging, which I found interesting. We talked about Cheryl Swoops here on the channel before, and how she said that Angel Reese was Rookie of the Year, but she didn't have any reason. She said, yeah, she's my Rookie of the Year, and she should have stayed in college. I think that's what you call, contradicting yourself. But Angel Reese was asked about it, and she said, she's been really good to her. Swoops has been good to her, and it's been good to be able to communicate with her and all that. It seems kind of odd to me because Cheryl Swoops is a commentator. Cheryl Swoops goes on Gil's Arena, and she's supposed to be giving impartial observations. And so Swoops going to be insufferable now. Yeah. So it's just kind of interesting in light of her role with the league and also her commentary on other platforms that she was just obviously, all lovey with Reese. But hey, she wasn't on duty. So she showed her that respect. And so, yeah, I don't know. I'm hanging with the team. I'm hoping for something to be better. Some people do think that. Let me ask you guys: do you think that Sides is going to get the boot? There are some people who feel like during the Olympic break she's going to be given her walking papers, and then there are others who feel that they're in it with her. Kentron says, "I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong. Hello, you're very interesting. You really know your basketball. You're a good basketball analyst. What teams did you play for, and what teams did you coach? I'm just curious." Okay, so from my background, I grew up in New York City, New York area. So I went to high school in Queens, New York, and I played high school ball there. And as far as college goes, I went to one meeting concerning playing basketball, and I have this regret because I got scared and I never went back. And I did not play in college except for a little small period of intramural basketball. As far as my coaching, first of all, my background is in teaching. I was an English language arts teacher, 7th grade in Hudson, New York. That's upstate New York, not far from the capital, Albany. And so I taught English to 7th graders, but I coached for 6 years girls varsity basketball. And I started pulling out some old stuff that I have. I started pulling out some of my pictures from my team and some of the articles of when I was talking to the press after games and cutting down the net and stuff when we won 2 back-to-back conference championships. We never made state or anything like that, but we won our conference twice in a row. And it was the first time they had ever won at all in the conference in the history of the school. So I did that, but I was pulling out some stuff, and I should share some stuff. As far as the teams that I loved, I was a huge Houston Comets fan. I was a huge Cheryl Swoops fan, Cynthia Cooper fan. Got to meet Cynthia Cooper a couple times. Also was able to take some of our players, our varsity and JV players, to meet her at the Siena women's basketball game back in the day. Cheryl Swoops, Tina Thompson, Cynthia Cooper, Kim Perrott, before she passed away, unfortunately. So yeah, those are my teams. And of course, Lady Vols, Tennessee, Coach Pat Summitt. I modeled my coaching after Coach Summitt. And so I did some of the things she did with my team. I found some pictures of when I used to have team building nights where we would spend time together in the evening, and then I would leave and they would have sleepovers. We did all kind of team building things because that is important to what happens on the court, I believe. You don't necessarily have to be best friends, but there's a certain gelling when you get to know one another well. And so yeah, that's a little bit about me. And some people say, "Oh, you should coach the Fever." Let me just put this out here. I am not fooling myself. That is way above my pay grade. That is not something that I know that I could do on that level at all. But here's the thing. I know that's not my lane. I'm not sure Coach Sides knows that's not her lane. It's harder for her. She's making decisions in the moment. I get to sit back and rewatch things and put it in slow motion and all that. On the court, you don't get to do that. Of course, you do get to watch film and stuff like that. And so, but yeah, so it's been interesting watching this team. I'm disappointed in the loss today, but I could take a loss when you just were out, when you were outplayed completely. It's harder when you were outcoached. It's harder when you have a star player and you don't utilize her. It's harder when you've lost a 15-point lead. It's harder when your point guard, your generational player, barely gets any shots. It's inexcusable. And as a coach, it comes down to you. If your players are going away from her, that's where your timeout comes in, and that's where you say, "Hey guys, this is what we're running." You know, in the crucial crunch time points of the game, you give the ball to Wallace. Where are the screens to get Caitlin open and stuff? I don't know. It's just tough. So, but anyway, congratulations to Chicago Sky and Angel Reese, and she said it herself. Fever, they're still one up on them. They've won 2. They've won 1, and so the edge still goes to the Fever. All right. So thank you, Adrienne, for answering my questions. Thanks for telling us about your life. You probably could have made a WNBA team as a walk-on. I also love the Houston comments. Oh, speaking of trying to be a walk-on, I think it was 1999. I have this little basketball card of me. I went to a WNBA fantasy camp. And it was run by Fran Harris. Fran Harris used to play for the Houston Comets. And Fran Harris, she's also a commentator, so you might know who she is. But she did a fantasy camp way back. I was already a teacher, but I think it was like 1999. And I had registered, it was $500 to go to this camp way back then. And I still had dreams of playing in the WNBA. I was older. I was like, I should have been, if I was born a little bit later, I was older, but I still had these dreams that I could maybe have an opportunity. And so I registered, paid my $500, and I was supposed to play in the camp in New York City. And I was playing in the gym because I used to play with my students all the time. I was playing in the gym with my students, and I came right before, like a week or so before that camp. And I always tend to get hurt when I play with people who don't know what they're doing because they don't box out and stuff. And they don't play right. And so I came down on someone's foot and I twisted my ankle. Someone undercut me, something. So I couldn't do the New York City camp. So I got in touch with them. And I think 2 weeks later was the camp in Washington, D.C. And so I got myself some, when I was able to walk again, I got myself some tape and I got myself some ankle braces. To this day, if you ever see me really playing, I'm wearing a mouth guard and I'm wearing ankle braces because I've experienced a lot of kind of stuff. This smile was jeopardized. And so anyway, I went to the Washington, D.C. one. And the thing was, it wasn't a tryout, but it was made known that if you had a good showing there, it could be an opportunity to be invited to a WNBA, to try out for the WNBA. I had a blast. So it was to give us the feel of what a real, point guard. I was a point guard, number 24, 3-point shooter myself. My senior year was really my breakout year. So if they liked what they saw, you might have gotten invited to try out for the WNBA. And it really was my dream. And I used to have young people, students and stuff say, "Man, were you even better when you were, when you used to play?" And I'm like, I'm better now. I was better as an adult because I played so much. I went to the Boys and Girls Club. I shot free throws constantly. I worked really hard, even as an adult, because I just loved the game and I wanted to see it done right. And I still had those dreams. But I went to that fantasy camp, which was supposed to give you the idea of what it felt like to be in a WNBA practice. Let me tell you, it was 2 days. And when I left that camp, I couldn't even hardly walk. I was so sore. First of all, my ankle was still healing. So there was that. I wasn't at 100% and I had it wrapped real tight. But I mean, it was so intense. Okay. I couldn't even hardly walk. To get in the car, I had to sit myself down, pick up my leg, move my leg over, and drop my leg down. I mean, it was, I could barely walk. That was how. And I think there was one person in that camp at Washington D.C. that year who did get to go to a tryout. And so I don't remember who that was. I'm assuming she didn't make a team. I did reach out to Fran Harris afterwards, and I said, "Listen, what are my chances of getting an opportunity?" Now, mind you, I'm at that point I'm like 29 years old. I mean, but I was trying. And I said, "What are my chances of getting, you think, of making a team or getting a tryout?" And she said to me, I wasn't ready. I mean, it was past my time. But she said to me, she said, "Let me tell you this." She said, "If you're willing, you have to be willing to get in shape like you've never, ever been in shape in your life. Because in this league, you're going to have to be in shape." Yeah, I almost have 10,000 subscribers. Yeah, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Also like. Everybody's on here. Please like. And yes, close to 10,000 subscribers. You guys have been amazing. It has grown tremendously fast. And that's been really cool. A lot of people like the sports stuff. I don't really haven't even talked much about sports. And a lot of what I do isn't about sports. But obviously people want to hear about it. So, so yeah, I've been doing that. But anyway, yeah. So I said, "What are my chances?" She said, "Unless you're willing to get into the best shape of your life, you really have to." And so, I realized that it wasn't my time and that God had another plan. And I knew there was a calling on my life to teach. And so, I then later began to coach, which I thought I could never do. I'm like, I could never coach. But I had some great assistants, which helped me too. And I learned a lot during the process. I didn't know snot of. I had a player's mentality. It's different to be a coach, and I knew the game. I studied the game, but to get out there and do it, I had a lot that I had to learn, and I was willing to learn and humble myself from people who knew more than I did, and I learned so much. And then we won. Like I said, we made history back to back in the school. Joanne, your sports knowledge is great, and I really enjoy your podcast. Thank you so much. And one of the things before I end here, one of the things I want to say is that I love engagement with people, and so I appreciate comments. And one of the things that people don't understand about me is I think that we can agree to disagree. So there's some people who come on the channel, and because I don't love Angel Reese, or and they get mad and they get upset. They want to tell me off, and they want to, insult my character and all that. And I'm just like, can we just agree to disagree? Same thing. I have people who love my basketball stuff. And I put up something political, and people were just like, "Oh, you quoted such and such. I'm out of here. I'm unsubscribed. You don't subscribe to my way of thinking. I'm out of here." And I'm just like, really? This is where we are in the nation? Like, we can't agree to disagree? Like, I got to agree with you, or you're going to take your toys and go home. So I had a few people like that. And then I had other people who said, "Listen, I disagree with X, Y, and Z, but that's all. I mean, it's all good." And we talked it through. That's what I'm all about. That's what we need to be as a nation. Like, you may not agree with my politics. So if you see a headline you don't like, you're like, "Oh, that's going to take me off." Just keep scrolling, and then come back to the one thing that you can say, "You know what? I can get with her on this." That's what we need more of. But I am enjoying the basketball stuff. I am sorry that this team lost today. They shouldn't have lost. Hoping for the turnaround. All right. So thank you guys. I'm gonna put my Cash App and Venmo in the description. Some of the stuff I do, like the basketball breakdowns that some people like to see, YouTube doesn't like it. They like to run ads and make money, have people make money off it, but then they don't want to compensate me for it. But you guys want to see it. So some of those things I'll do. And so if you can, put something in a little, what do they call it? A kitty jar, whatever they call it. I'd appreciate it, but I'll put that info in there. All right, guys. Thank you so much. This is my first live. I hope there'll be many, many more. I need you on my show, Man Down Sports. Check out the info has my email when you click on the channel information. So send me that, because actually I'm going to be I got contacted by two people. I'm going to be recording on their show on Tuesday. So yeah, they want to talk about Caitlin Clark, and I'm willing to talk about Caitlin Clark. So that's great. All right, guys. God bless you abundantly. Thank you for being a part of my first of many, hopefully, YouTube chats. God bless you abundantly.